Okay.
It didn't click, like,
It's because it's on vibrate.
okay. And if you know, however close you want to sit.
About 2 years ago,
Make sure you speak up.
okay, I was at home and I got a phone call. It was ringing, so I went and answered it. And they said, "Hey, you just won a trip to Hawaii. You won." Oh, really? I did? Yeah. So, I went to Hawaii. Well, I won the trip. It was worth $500. The ticket was paid for, the food was paid for, everything. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh, what should I do? Or what do I need to do to get that? And they're like, oh, well, you have to give me your name and your information, and I'll call you back tomorrow, and then we can plan your flight to Hawaii. And I was so thrilled, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just won this trip. So I gave him my name and my address, but I didn't really know the reason. I didn't think it was fraud. I thought it was fine. You know, that's pretty normal. They need to know my name and my address. I didn't think it was fraud. So I gave them my personal information. And the next day, sure enough, they called me back. And they gave me a time for the flight. And I was so excited. My flight to Hawaii is going to be free, paid for. So my husband and I decided that we will go. And my husband's like, "Are you sure this is okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, the man told me everything's paid for and we get a free flight and free food." I was so excited, and so then they gave me my ticket, and I didn't think I was going to get fraud because I thought I had won. So my husband and I are so excited we get a free trip to Hawaii. So we got in the airplane and we flew to Hawaii, but first we had a 1-hour delay in California. And then after our layover, we flew to Hawaii from California, and we were so excited. We could not wait to get there. But it was 6 hours all the way from California to Hawaii, but I didn't mind because it was free. So the cab picked us up from Hawaii, and I gave him my name and information, and he took us to the hotel. And we walked into the hotel, and I gave him my name, and they said, "We don't have your name." And I said, "No, I won this trip, and you should have my name on the list, and my husband and here are to stay." And the lady at the desk said, "No, there's no name for you. There's no reservations." And my husband looked at me and said, "I bet you got scammed. In the hotel, there's no place for us to stay." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm going to do. And at this hotel that we went to, it was $1,000 for a week of stay. And I was thinking to myself, we can't afford that. We only came here because this was a free trip. So we had to go to the bank, and I walked in there, and I had to borrow money because we were in Hawaii. And then they said, well, then I asked them if I could get a loan because I needed a loan to spend this vacation on Hawaii. I need spending money. But I walked into the bank, and their interest rate was 2.5%, 25%, which is so much money. So finally I decided that I needed to borrow money, and I got the money from the bank. So then we went to a hotel, and we didn't want to go to the original one that we stayed at because it was too expensive. So we went to another one, and it was kind of crappy, and I didn't really like that one. So then we went to another one, and that one was full. But then we finally found a hotel that was only $200 for a week to stay there. So we decided to stay at that one, and then I had to go back to the bank and borrow $500 more. I had to go to another bank to borrow $500 for food and spending money. It was such a nightmare because I didn't think it was fraud. But I got scammed. I told them my address and my social security number. They took all my money and they lied to me, and now the state office is closed and I can't report it. My debit card wasn't working, and I had to call and cancel them. But the money was all gone, just like that. It vanished, and I was so upset. And I was stuck in Hawaii because I just flew there with my free ticket. Anyway, so my husband and I stayed there for a week in Hawaii, and I really enjoyed myself. So I had to get a ticket back, and we went to the airport to fly back, and the person at the desk said, "We don't have a ticket for you to fly back to Ohio." And they said, and I said, "Well, all right, how much is a ticket back?" And they said $650 each. And I was like, there's no way. They didn't even get us a ticket back. I really got scammed. And I was just so upset, and I was crying. I felt like I was so hopeless. I didn't have any money. And I thought everything was going to be free. The flight, the hotel, the food. No. Really, I had to pay for it all after they took all my money. So then somebody offered to buy us a ticket, and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they asked me for my name, and I said, no, I don't think so. I'm sorry, but when I hear fraud, I know how you feel, because that's happened to me before. Oh, so this lady gave me money to buy a ticket, and I said, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And she was like, I've had fraud problems before, so I just want to help you out. And I was counting the money, and I realized it's not real money, it was fake money that she gave me. And so then I go there to buy my ticket, and they said, this is fake money. And I'm trying to describe the person that gave me the fake money, and he had a beard and hair. And so the cop came, and I tried to report him, and I was going to get in trouble for it. But it wasn't my money. It was the money that somebody else gave to me. And I don't know their name. They just gave me the money because they've dealt with fraud before. So I thought it was okay. It was counterfeit. They probably made it at their house or had somebody make the fake money for them, but it was counterfeit money. And I was like, oh my gosh, not again. So my brother sent us money that we could fly home. And then a week later, the cop called me and said, do you remember the man that gave you the counterfeit money and scammed you? Well, that's the man who also called and told you that he won the free trip to Hawaii. The same man who gave you the counterfeit money. And they finally caught him and put him in jail. But what I learned is that when somebody calls me and tells me that I won something, I probably shouldn't give them my personal information and my address and my social security number. I really enjoyed my stay in Hawaii though, but it was not free, it was very expensive.